I'm going to read you these two excerpts for January 27th. Forever gifts. When God chooses someone and graciously impacts. I'm sorry, let me start over. Forever gifts, January 27th. When God chooses someone and graciously imparts gifts to him, they are never rescinded. Romans 11:29. God, you are a good Father and Creator, showing kindness to me in so many ways, small and large. You have made me in your image and have given me gifts that are uniquely mine. Thank you for your favorable disposition towards me. Help me to make use of these gifts and not to squander or take them for granted. Fill me with desire and ideas of how to use them. Help me to make use of these gifts and not squander or take them for granted. Fill me with the desire and ideas of how to utilize the gifts you have given me. You had a purpose for me receiving them. I ask for you to help me using them. You had a purpose for me receiving them. I ask for your help in using them. I am amazed at how fearfully and wonderfully you have made me, and I want to make good use of the resources you have put at my disposal, especially to glorify you with them. Glorious Father, make your will and plans clear to me so I will not use these gifts in a meaningless fashion. Exalt your name in the earth and help me to declare your good news with the tools you have provided me. How does the steadfastness of God's gift encourage you as you walk in faithfulness today? To answer that question, you can answer it yourself on your own time. But for myself, I can say that it encourages me to walk in faithfulness, knowing that He has given me the gifts. Because many people in life, as I get older, I realize don't have no gifts. So the more greater and the more what's the word I'm looking for? Like the more I master my craft, right? The more power I get into my gift, the more specialized I become in my I guess you call it craft or um yeah, in the realm that I work in, right? The more better I get, the more I can walk in faithfulness because I wasn't taught this by no one. These were given gifts. So I know there's a greater purpose for them. So it gives me more faithfulness today and also to speak his word because I know that there's a real fight going on. We're in a spiritual war and our weapons are our gifts. And we will choose how to use them, but we need his permission and we need his advice. Like he's the advisor. We need his guidance. We can do it on our own, but if we mess up, whose fault is that? So be grateful for the gifts he gives you because they will work in your favor when the time is right. Now, the next one, January 27th, living for self. He died for everyone so that those who receive his news, once again, living for self. He died for everyone. So those who receive his new life will no longer live for themselves. Instead, they will live for the light, for Christ. who died and was raised for them. Corinthians 5:15. So let me repeat that. He died for everyone so that those who receive his new life will no longer live for themselves. Instead, they will live for Christ, who died and was raised for them. Now, for those that don't understand, this magical being called the light is the sun. The sun that has to rise every day to wake us up so we can live. That doesn't have, what if the sun disappeared? Like that, the fact that that sun stays, rises. What if the sun wants to take a vacation? The fact that the sun stays here for us to renew ourselves each and every day, that should be enough for us to say, well, you know what? We need to do the same. Live by example from the sun. That's why every culture back in times, 1,000,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 50,000 years ago, they all praised the sun god. It's all the same story. It's just new time. Back to what I was saying. What wakes us up in the morning? What wakes us up in the morning? What is the inspiration behind our rising, working, and choosing to rest? When we live for ourselves, we might be generous and kind, but ultimately we use those things to improve ourselves. We will be these things because we know it is good for us. Even when we do all the right things, the heart can have a selfish outlook. What does that mean? Meaning that you could outwardly look like a good standing individual, a good Samaritan. But if you're innately selfish in heart, it don't make no difference. Christ, or the light, Christ died for everyone so that those who receive his new life will no longer live for themselves. Even without a reward, we aim for virtue for the love of Christ. We should have deep within us the desire to live for Christ. Any Christian, for lack of better words, I don't use that term. Any Christian or any child of light, any Christian man who lives for himself, even while trying to be virtuous, will find himself burned out and unsatisfied. Any man of God who lives for himself, even while trying to be virtuous, will find himself burned out and unsatisfied. His virtue has to be built on a foundation of selfless love. Otherwise, it will not persevere. That was a bar. Meaning that regardless of what we do or say, it has to come from a genuine, selfless place. And it has to be true. Otherwise, we will burn out and perish. Now, the last part. O Son of God, I am all for you. And my virtue in my life, I live for you. I dedicate this day to your glory and the grace you have shown me. And the grace you have shown me. What if the sun left today? We would be dead. It don't matter if you got gifts. It don't matter if you got money. It don't matter if you got a house. It don't matter if you got children. None of that matters if we're dead. The world will change. The world has to change. But we got to let it all go. We got to be just like him to fight the darkness, which knows it's coming to an end. We got to be just like him. The Father's Son, the Son of Light. We got to be just like him. Even being close to him is better than not being like him. Like, at least try. We need to try. If we try, at least God will see that we're attempting to change ourselves. It might give us a pat on the back. It might be merciful because we're not really trying. We'll try for the work. We'll try for the government. We'll try for the United States. We'll try for the world. But what about the being that is not of the world? Will we try for him? We live in dark times. We live in dark times, but we got to fight back. We got to fight back with all the gifts we got. With all the gifts he done gave us. You cannot lose hope. Use every ounce of power you have. Every gift you have, use for him and his glory. In the end, we all look back and say we tried.